Okay, DC is celebrating one of its own. Island Styles, an award-winning guitarist and composer, just brought home an Oscar for his work on the short documentary The Singers. You may recognize him as the guitarist for American rock bands Candlebox and Jimmie's Chicken Shack before his career evolved into scoring emotionally powerful films seen around the world. From growing up here in the DMV to blending soulful guitar with global influences on stages across the city, his sound has carried DC's music spirit all the way to the big stage. This win is a milestone for him and the moment for our local scene here in the DMV. Island Styles joining us now to break down what this win means. Thank you so much. I know you're on tour, so I appreciate you taking a few minutes out to chat with us, but congrats. How are you feeling after bringing home an Oscar?
Thank you. It's still setting in day by day, little by little. When I first got the news, I was on stage and because I'm playing with two bands right now on the road. So I didn't know when the announcement happened. And as soon as I got off stage, I looked at my cell phone and there were all of these text messages. It was crazy, all of these emails. And yeah, so I knew kind of then that it's probably not bad news when I got those. And that was the first stage of it. My singer came in after the show and he's like, "You won." And just the words were so, surreal to hear. And yeah, it didn't really start setting in for me until I started, seeing reactions from my friends and having conversations with family and things like that. But it's absolutely surreal.
So how does that work? I mean, do they ship the hardware to your house at some point? Like, how do you actually get it so you can proudly display it in your home?
Wouldn't that be nice? In our category, they only allow two statuettes and they go to the director and the producer of the film. But, honestly, I am so happy that they get it. They really, really work hard on these things. It's a difficult job for everyone, but especially for the producers and the director, they put their blood, sweat, and tears into this project, and I'm glad they get the actual physical award. So,
Yes, and that's what it is. I mean, you see all the sacrifices and hard work right
yeah.
there. You grew up here in DC. What does this win mean to you personally and to the creative community that helped raise you and supported you during your time here?
Well, that's a really good point. I don't think anybody can achieve anything without the help of friends and colleagues. And there was no shortage of that help growing up in DC. Everything in my particular career, in my case, was incremental. I found a band. It's called the Nicky Bar Band, and we went overseas touring for the USO. So I got my first taste of actual travel that way with a band. We toured for a long time, and then Jimmie's Chicken Shack happened around 2010, and those guys were incredibly helpful in just teaching me a lot of lessons. And
Wow.
then I went on to Candlebox first as a guitar tech, and eventually became the guitar player around 2015 or so. It's just there are a lot of lessons that you can share with one another, and especially because the people that I networked with were a little bit older than me in most cases. There was a lot of lesson to for me to learn, a lot of lessons for me to learn, and yeah, I couldn't have done it without the community for sure.
You know, the 930 Club, of course, an iconic venue here in our area. You've played there. What does that venue mean to you specifically?
Well, that venue means a lot to me specifically because, that was one of the places that I would go see bands when I was a kid. My family would take me there to watch bands. And, even though the 930 Club, in the grand scheme of things, isn't the largest venue in the planet, it seems like it is when you're 5 or 6 years old. So being able to play that venue, and I don't know if anybody knows this, but they serve cupcakes there to the bands. They're legendary. So that's always a perk. Yeah.
You know that what's special about that venue is you mentioned the space. It's so intimate, right? There's no bad seat in the house, so I love that. Your music blends a soulful guitar with global influences. How did that find its way into this film's storytelling?
Well, the parallel between songwriting and working on film isn't too far apart. There's always, there are acts involved. There's always kind of like an arc that you take when you're writing a song. First verse, you're introducing an idea. Then you get to the chorus, which is kind of like the main statement. Then you have a twist in the bridge. And a lot of film is like that, and music has to tell that story. So it's really not so crazy. And I mean, a lot of the experience that I had working in music in studios with bands taught me a lot of skills that apply directly to doing film music. And so, yeah,
Oscar-winning guitarist and composer Island Styles, we thank you so much. And once again, congratulations on the big win.
thank you so much. I appreciate it, Annie.
Of course.